Hello everyone and welcome to my craft room. Today I have these pretty cards to share with you. I've used a very simple card sketch and just showing off some of the brand new products in the new annual catalog. So as you can see, the same card with just different colors gives it a completely different feel. Today we're going to focus on the blue card, which is the one we're going to recreate. So I'm just going to set this aside. And what I want to do first is to show you the flowers for every season designer series paper. So here it is here, it's 6x6 and you get 48 sheets in total. And as you can see, there's very pretty floral images on one side and a more basic on the back. So you can use this for a multitude of paper crafting projects. I love all the flowers, they're perfect for spring and summer. Okay, so this is the paper we're using. I'm just going to set that aside now. To start with, I have a card base in the new Just Jade in color, and I've cut it to 4 1/4 by 11, sorry, and it's scored at 5 1/2. Okay, so this is going to be your card base. I then have a piece of Misty Moonlight that is again another new in color, and I've embossed this one with the Ornate Floral 3D embossing folder here. So aren't these pretty little petite flowers just gorgeous? I love the way it just adds that perfect little dimension onto this piece of paper. Okay, so we're going to stick that down onto the front of the card. Just center it to the center like so. Okay, so the front is on. I'm just going to set this aside, and then we're going to pull in these pieces here. So I've got a 3 1/2 by 4 1/4 piece of Whisper White cardstock, and I've got 3 strips of the designer series paper, all measuring 4 inches by 1 inch. And what we're going to do is we're just going to center these evenly on this paper. Okay. And the patterns don't need to line up. Just like so. So just kind of situate them the way you want them. Okay, and then adhere them down. I love the colors in this paper. It's so subtle. The Just Jade and the Misty Moonlight go so well together. Okay, so once we have these 3 all layered down like this, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of this beautiful gingham ribbon, also in Just Jade. It's from the Flowers for Every Season Ribbo Combo Pack. This ribbon pack, unfortunately, is already on back order until, I believe, until July. But no fret, it will be available eventually. So what we're going to do is we're just going to adhere a piece of that. So if we just cut a little snippet off here. Okay, and we're just going to adhere it to the back of this piece of paper. So how I like to do that is just flip it over. And then I'm just using some tear tape, and I'm just going to stick it like that. And again on the same thing on this side here. So I'm not peeling the back of the tear tape off, I'm just using it solely to hold the ribbon in place, which then gives it more flexibility up at front, and you're not trying to fight with it, sticking it directly onto the ribbon. Okay, so we've got that piece done. Now we're going to tie a bow. Now I find the easiest way to tie a bow is to not cut the ribbon off, but just to grab it, make your loop, stick it through here, And then you can fiddle with it as much as you need and pull the tails to get it to look just as pretty as you like. Okay, well, that looks good. And then we're just gonna trim the tails off here, and then you've not wasted any extra ribbon. And you can, of course, you can still tweak it a little bit if you need to. Okay, so there's our ribbon. It's gonna eventually go onto there. But before we do that, I wanna pull in some of this beautiful polka dot tulle ribbon. I love this, I've used it so often. What I wanna do is gonna cut 2 little strips of it. Okay, they don't have to be the same, they don't have to be any specific dimension. And I'm just going to tuck them, for now, right underneath here. Okay, so it's just sitting there. Then I'm going to take my ribbon that we just made, and using a mini glue dot, I'm going to attach the ribbon here, right over top of where we've placed that tulle ribbon, okay? So again, this still isn't attached, it's just like that. Third thing we're gonna do is take a piece of this linen thread. Now this is where we're going to attach this tulle. So I'm going to take the ribbon, like so, just pull it up, push this linen thread underneath of it, like so, and then put this ribbon back down. Okay, so now the ribbon, the tulle ribbon is caught in between the linen thread and the green gingham. And I'm going to pull it around top here, and then just tie one more little bow on top here. Okay, so again, you just fuss with your bow a little bit until you like it. I always like to take this little, like that. Okay, so there we have it. We have our layers of ribbon. Adds such a beautiful dimension to this card. We can just sprawl out these tools here like so. We just kind of want them random. Okay, trim off the tails. Make these so they're a little bit more random here. Okay, how pretty is that? All right, so now we'll take this whole piece here and we're going to stick some dimensionals on the back, or bumpets as I like to call them. So we'll bump it in each corner and one in the center. That's how I like to do it, okay? Just peel those off. And we'll pull in our card base that we've already adhered, and we're just going to center that right onto the blue. Oh, it's so pretty already. Okay, next thing we want to do is the sentiment. So I have used just a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock here, and using this stamp set, So Sentimental. This is one of my favorite greeting stamp sets that we have in the catalog. I like the size of them. They really draw attention to the greeting on your card. So I'm going to use the Sending Healing Hugs, but as you can see, any of these would make a beautiful card. I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. Now, I have not received my full-size ink pad yet, but this one was in my Paper Pumpkin last month, so I'm going to use that. Just ink up the stamp here. Okay, and then I'm going to use the Label Me Lovely punch that was in the Occasions catalog that's carried forward to our annual catalog. And look how beautifully that fits in there. Okay, what's happening? Oh, my slider has slid on me. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay, so if that ever happens to you, sometimes when you push your you end up sliding this down, it won't punch all the way through. Just slide this back up to the unlocked position and you'll be able to stamp it again, okay? All right, so now we've got our image here. I'm gonna pull this back in. I'm going to put a bump it on each top and bottom of this greeting. And I'm just going to slide it under here so that we can see it. I want to make sure I can read all of the words, see some of the ribbon poking out over here. Perfect, just like that. Okay, now for the final touch, because every card needs some bling, I am going to add some of our pearl basic jewels, and I've got some of the little bitty guys up here. So just here are a few of those. Okay, so there we go. The front of our card is now complete. Isn't that pretty? I love all this dimension and layers on here. Okay, so for the inside, of course, we don't want to just leave it a plain green card. So for the inside, what I've done is I've cut a piece of Misty Moonlight again, 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to layer a piece of Whisper White, that's 3 3/4 by 5. I'm going to attach that onto the front of the card. Or sorry, cardstock. And then I've cut another strip of the Designer Series paper coordinating with the front. This one's 3 3/4 by 1. I'm just going to adhere that onto the front here in front of the white. And then we can put the whole thing into the card. Like so, and how pretty is that? So we've got this beautiful front card and then the inside coordinating, and we can have room for our little greeting inside here, and it's ready to pop in the mail. So thank you so much for stopping in today and checking out all these new products with me and this simple layout that we've done. I will post on my blog the dimensions along with this video. So if you've missed them and want to recreate it, they'll be readily available for you. Thank you so much for stopping in. I will talk to you soon.